All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 3, Episode 11. Ah!
Abdul's dead.
Abdul can no longer walk like an Egyptian.
You're right.
He can't even stand proud. Who will carry on the torch?
No, because now he's lying in a bloody stream.
They're in the desert, Jacob.
Yeah, I know, but he got shot.
Yes.
Bleeding. Anyways.
Yeah. So these guys that they're up against are pretty badass.
It's an ambush. There's two of them.
The Hanged Man and the Emperor. Mm-hmm. In particular, the Hanged Man stand is pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
The ability to attack from a space in which you can't attack.
Right, and the idea
gives them an insane advantage.
Right, and the idea that when the mirror or whatever is shattered, that doesn't hurt him at all. That just
removes
cuts
their
off
access
an
point.
avenue of attack. Yeah,
exactly. And we don't know exactly what the range limitations are.
Right.
So this guy could be, 20 yards away. He could be 300 yards away.
Yep,
like,
we don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And we also can assume because of his connection through the mirrors, he can essentially see everything that's within a radius of himself that has some kind of reflective surface.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
And
just a bit.
Now here's the crazy thing. Abdul is probably dead. But this is JoJo's, so he might not be. But
sure.
if he is, rip our favorite Egyptian. I was really excited about the idea of everyone making it to Egypt and facing down Dio, and that's when people would die. You know, in kind of a super boss takedown kind of thing, where we have the DPS, the support, all the tank and all this other stuff going up against the super.
But but now they're in a dangerous situation here. So
yeah. All right, guys, it's going to be intense. Let's get into part 2 of this whole little mini arc. So without further ado, let's do it. All right,
let's do this.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I think it's ready to do this thing. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay. It's
just a little flash of just dead Abdul.
Yep, and trembling back muscles.
Yeah. Oh. Too soon, buddy. Too soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay chill.
He's not alone, remember.
Yeah, it's not a 1v1.
They know how.
One of them works, but that's the point. Just one of them being Little Paul. Oh. Oh, this is so intense.
Yeah.
Oh, here he comes.
Yep.
I love the design of that stand.
I know.
Probably my favorite so far.
It's amazing. Oh boy.
Destroy it. Destroy the window. Oh. Dodge.
Yeah.
Oh, you done goofed. You do not. No.
Oh crap.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, alright, can't kill him.
He's just gonna grab him and go.
Yes! What? Yes! Oh, he has probably range control limitations. Ah, okay. Gotcha. So he sacrifices speed of the bullet for control of it. Oh, yeah. Crap. Oh, the grim looks on their faces. Wow, he's really dead.
Okay.
Right.
Getting a little meta there, aren't we? Yeah, getting into the mechanics of light.
Maybe it's actually just invisible and is only revealed by mirrors.
Yep.
Oh crap.
Oh crap.
Whoa.
Jeez. Yeah, and it did jump inside the truck. You noticed that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep, see light.
Whoa.
Yep. So you could isolate it if it ended up jumping long enough to where
potentially it's isolated right now.
Yes. Good, good. Get rid of the earrings. His eyes.
No way.
No way. Oh!
Oh boy.
Alright, he figured it out. Jean-Pierre Polnareff! Yes! Nice, nice.
No way.
Wait. Now just shut your eyes.
So if he closes his eye.
Oh, nice!
Whoa, okay.
Oh, dang. Yo!
Alright. Okay.
That pose, though.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Oh! Crap!
Oh. Oh. Getting reflective surfaces.
No. Yeah. Oh. Jeez. Oh, crap. Oh.
途中で挫折するとつまらない寂しい人生よ。ポルナレフ、そのセリフは違うぞ。仇を撃つ時というのは
Making him eat his words.
友人アブドゥルの無念のために、左にいる友人ポルナレフの妹の魂の安らぎのために。
Yes.
死をもって償わせてやる。これでみんなの目が一点に集まったようですよ。ああ。ハングドマンが移動しなくてはならない軌道は分かった。
Yeah. There it is. Nice. Oh. Nice. Oh, that is a kill.
That's oh, wait, no way.
Did it not go deep enough? Oh, he's on the run though, either way. Oh, what's that? Yep, this guy's gonna die when he gets killed. Yep. Well played. Well played. Oh, that was badass. Wow.
But you are now at a tactical disadvantage.
Bruh, your buddy's dead.
There's one of you and two of them.
And there's two Joestars in place somewhere that are probably gonna come out right about now.
He doesn't know that he's dead yet.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Come at us. Yeah.
Oh, that pose! Burn!
Then what chance do you have against us?
Yep, exactly. Wanna go see it?
Wait a minute.
Yeah!
The secret technique.
He was even serpentine. He's learned well from Joseph. Oh my gosh. Yes, I was waiting for that. Yes.
Joseph's like, I know all about that secret technique.
Yep. Oh, Jotaro. Oh. No way. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, jeez.
ポルナレフ、その女性も利用されている一人に過ぎん。
Yeah.
それに奴はもう戦う意志はなかった。構っている暇はない。もうすでに日本を出て15日が過ぎている。
たく。エジプトへの旅を再開しよう
Going to Egypt.
ディオを倒すにはよ、みんなで一つにするんだぜ。一人でも勝手なことをするとよ。
He wasn't going to be finishing the trip because you know he just wanted his revenge, but now he's wait a minute, it's the blood. Wait a minute.
No way.
Oh, no way.
Is she a stand user?
What?
I was gonna say there's no way that like someone would bleed just from like getting dragged on the ground. You know.
Well.
Wow, okay.
Well, that calls into question though, is she actually a stand user? Or was the stand someone that like manipulated her to do that?
Possibly.
Because yeah, I mean we'll see. We'll go into the discussion with that. Oh, Rip Abdul, man.
Yep. Although that was quite the thorough end to the Hanged Man.
Oh, he's super dead. They made sure to like triple tap, quadruple tap that guy. More like unlimited tap, you know, unlimited Blade Works tap. Just ora, 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 you know,
stabby, stabby, stabby,
stabby McStabby. Yep. Okay. Wow.
All right.
With 2 people officially dead, like. Big story people as well. The Hanged Man was Polnareff's primary motivation up until this point.
Yep.
And now that he and his stand are gone, Polnareff's made a really big step forward. He realizes how much of this kind of ties back to Dio.
Right.
And originally his thing was, I don't
care about Dio.
I don't care about Dio. I don't care about any of you guys. I'm just going to get my revenge and I'm out of this. And he realized, mostly because of Kakyoin, but also because of Abdul dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, and, okay, and major props to them for coming up with a satisfying way to defeat a stand that really does seem OP. Right?
Yeah.
Like how, like there's the whole question of like, okay, shouldn't they have been dead long before that? But the idea that it's like, okay, you have this stand that's going around on reflective surfaces, that could be pretty much anywhere, and the whole thing of like, you break the mirror, there's more mirrors now.
You get them into people's eyes.
Yeah, you get them into people's eyes. You can get them anywhere. It could be on blood. It could be wherever.
Right.
So the idea that they didn't like nerf it essentially. They still made it be as OP as it was. But then it's like, oh wait, no, it doesn't actually create an alternate dimension. You know, it's just light itself.
Well, that was something I think I brought up in the previous episode's discussion, was that it was probably interacting with light in a interesting way, but I didn't figure out the way it was projected into the mirrors. And the way they described it made a lot of sense in that it has to move on our plane of existence. It doesn't teleport. Like there's no stands that can just decide, oh, and suddenly I'm 100 yards from my wielder.
Yep.
They have to travel. They have to
they have an actual location.
Yes, in physical space-time. Yeah, exactly. So,
but it just moves at the speed of light, so it would normally be okay. But specifically against Silver Chariot, I think that's the name.
Silver Chariot.
Polnareff stand. And doesn't really do much because it can still track you, it can still cut you.
Well, that's another thing, is that the knowledge that it moves like light means it will be reflected back onto a surface that is also reflective. So I think the way Silver Chariot is actually able to hit it is that it doesn't matter whether or not it's fast enough, because Silver Chariot is not fast enough to move at the speed of light. What it is, I think, is that the trajectory is guaranteed to be in this way. So he just swings the sword into this trajectory, and then it moves into it at the speed of light, causing insane amounts of damage. Right. So in actuality, that's a really clever way to have a sword wielder actually be able to damage it, whereas generally the faster wielder or the faster opponent wins a sword battle.
Right, or pretty much any battle.
Pretty much any battle, yes.
And the way they like the way that the both stand users got creative of, well, all 3 stand users, I should say. With him basically being like, get the crowd of people over here, and then they're basically toast, and wounding the random passerby so that they assume that it's him before they realize
also
he doesn't have 2 right hands.
Yes.
But then it's like, okay, well, we'll kick the sand in these people's eyes, or we'll flip the coin up and then throw sand in all their eyes. That way it goes
brilliant.
Yeah.
And also there's a thing in JoJo's that the people are going to take some pretty serious wound damage, you know.
Right, exactly.
Blood will flow and it'll be intense, but let's just roll our shoulders.
By the power of my muscles and shoulder span,
yes,
I'll be okay.
I will stand proud and deliver my one-liners with
amazing, fabulous poses.
Yes, intense poses and staring. But Kakyoin gets a huge plus on my end because he did the thing that I think most characters in other stories wouldn't do. They would be a little bit
punching Polnareff in the face.
Yes, giving Polnareff the tough love, basically saying, this is your fault, and I'm not going to let you basically kind of just be like, oh no, Polnareff, I understand. But there's usually this thing when in this case, Polnareff was kind of the protagonist of the episode, which I kind of like. They're like, oh, Polnareff, you feel so deeply. I'm sorry. Like, they don't... it's more of like this weird false sympathy.
Right. But instead it's like, no, you still need to own up for the fact that he's dead because of your
stupidity.
Your stupidity.
Yeah. And your desire for revenge clouding your judgment.
Yep.
So Kakyoin, being one of sound judgment in that regard, was not nice to Polnareff in any respect to it. He probably broke his nose right there.
Oh,
just to make the point of snap out of it, dude. And I get excited about that in the future because they're the Joe Bros essentially, right? The Joe Bros are going to, encounter tougher things than the Hangman. Like there will be
like Dio.
Yeah, more difficult, foes and obstacles to overcome.
Yep.
And the idea that now Polnareff is going to respond probably in kind if Joseph or Jotaro steps out of line like that.
Yep.
He'll remember what Kakyoin told him back here because this was a huge step for Polnareff's character.
Oh, it totally was.
Like this was a Polnareff-centric little mini arc here, and
lots of development.
Yeah, lots of development. If anything, Polnareff might be almost an entirely new character moving forward.
Right. It's
in a good way.
In a good way because he's now fully on board with the Joe Bros. He's part of the squad. He's one of the team now because he isn't just in it for himself and his own goals and motivations.
Yes.
Which was really good that they gave him his own goals and motivations, but now he can be, along.
And they resolved it so early.
They did.
Like if you think about where we're at in the journey, they're in India right now. They just left Calcutta recently, and they're probably going to go the rest of the way by land.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hard to probably get from Calcutta to Egypt in 25 days. Oh wait, 35 days. No. Because it's 50 days, right?
Yeah, 50 days. Yeah.
So, they could do it.
But they need to defeat Dio.
They need to defeat Dio. Yeah, that's the crazy bit. It's going to be tough. And there's still a decent amount of stand users along the way.
Yeah.
And one of them has infected Joseph with some weird stand blood.
I am very excited for that, though. Okay, one thing I also have to say, I hope it was Joseph. I didn't look too closely.
That was Joseph.
Okay.
Because there was a specific part where the blood...
sorry, not the blood on Joseph. I know that's Joseph.
Oh, okay.
But when Mr. Cowboy dude, Emperor was running away.
Whole horse.
Yeah, whole horse, and he got punched. I really hope that was Joseph because Whole Horse was basically doing a flawless execution of the secret technique of running away.
Yes,
right?
he was.
And it would be so amazing if it actually was Joseph that punched him, because then it's like, you merely adopted the running away.
I was born in it, molded from it. I was running away from Pillarman since I was a child.
Yes, exactly. So
I'm sorry.
I
think it was Jotaro. Yeah,
that would have been so perfect.
It's more opportunity for the rule of cool protagonist to have a good moment in there.
Absolutely.
I also think that Joseph, in particular, will talk before he'll punch, even when he's pissed.
Sure.
Joseph has always been the one with the high charisma score, But now that he's a grumpy old man, he'll be like...
He'll still have the high charisma score, it's just that no one will listen to it.
Right, exactly. He'll be giving these natural buff bonuses to his allies.
But they won't appreciate it.
He'll be giving them buffs, Anyways, gaming jokes. But, okay, so we have a new stand user who we don't know if they're even really connected to the lady, because... This is what's crazy. When stands are starting to get this creative, they brought up something in particular this episode. Polnareff's like, if stands exist, then a mirror world can exist. Like, there's no limitations of what stand can do. And Kakyoin's like, but no. Yeah. Stands are limited by they have to exist within the physical space-time continuum. They cannot... they cannot do that. They are limited by what, kind of the physical, human body could do, probably, like... That's an interesting thing, because that's a subtle infer to what stand mechanics have limits within.
Right.
So stands operate within our plane of existence. They can change and alter their form and the form of the physical existence, but they cannot exist outside it. That's a really interesting thing, because I think that removes the whole idea of a teleporting stand. I was really like thinking about like what I just think of superpowers in in superhero shows, and I was like, what would be one of the craziest stands out there? And I was thinking like, a rapidly teleporting stand that goes through little mini wormholes, and this was the closest thing to that we've had. But instead, it even though it was light-based, it had some kind of physicality to it, so that it could be hit with a sword.
It still wouldn't be able to get inside a closed, locked box.
Right. There's not going to be any stands that exist in a telepathic space entirely that will just like...
Probably not anyways.
Right, but they will, if they are like doing some kind of mind control, they will have a physical quality to them and not just... maybe some kind of wavelength or energy-based.
Even if they exist in a different form, like, say, this light-based stand or, whatever. Yeah.
That means that they can still be attacked physically. And I like that stands, even though we know that you can attack the stand by attacking the user.
And vice versa.
We don't want it to be a situation where a stand is untouchable unless you attack the user. I think that's what Araki in particular wanted to avoid, was... You could have a stand like the boat, where it's like you can't really
attack it,
but you could technically have enough damage probably done to the boat.
Right.
It would be really tough.
If an attack helicopter came around and shot a couple missiles at it.
Shot a couple missiles at it. Good. You did good. But there are limitations to what they can do. That gets me excited in particular, I think, for some of the other stand users that will probably be stronger than the Hanged Man, like potentially Dio's stand. Because Enya talked about how, like, once he has, full mastery of his stand, he'll be a god. He'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, so it's like what kind of stand does Dio have exactly?
Right.
Because like
I have to think back to, like, any kind of, like, superhero kind of thing and think like maybe it's a combination thing. It's not that it has like one OP power, it's that it has like this like perfectly unique combination of really creative, wacky something.
Yeah, because we've had this conversation before.
We have.
What is, like, if we were to talk about like what's the most OP just broken power that a hero or villain can have, it's like time manipulation, right?
Well, that's part of it. I think that's definitely a thing, though. But it's more along the things that manipulate reality. Like time manipulation is really vague because
it's like, are you actually traveling through time? Or are you just like stopping time and slitting their throats? Or
I think it's more of a thing of if you're manipulating reality in some way, you're OP.
Right.
And that's a thing that it could be. But there's a lot of, in just, superhero type things and stuff, there's a lot of things that go into that category. And now we know that on some level, it's probably not going to be a truly reality manipulating thing.
Right.
Because they're still subject to the physical plane. So I don't know. So we'll see. But in particular, this marks
new stand. Or wait,
I'm shifting back to the episode in particular. I think this marks a new chapter, so to speak, in the journey overall.
Especially since now with JoJo's you can't be totally sure, even with a double tap, that they're dead. But now it's like, okay, yes, Abdullah is actually dead. That marks the first one of the JoBro squad that has died. And
now that he has died, that means anyone can die.
That means anyone can die. Probably not Jotaro for a while, but anyone can die. And especially
I don't know, man.
Well, I know, but when I was watching the ending, one of the things that stood out to me is it's like, okay, this is fairly early on in part 3, right?
Right.
This is only episode 11. And Abdul's dead.
Yeah.
And at the end, they show the silhouettes of all the JoBro characters, walking off. There's still 5 of them. So, I mean, if they change it in future episodes to only being 4 or something like that, then okay.
That would be sad.
But either way, the fact that it was silhouettes makes me think it's almost like a counter of like, how many are left, kind of a thing, right? Because one's already died out of 5. I don't know. It's just one of those things that came to mind, and it's like, okay, have they started basically a little thing of like, all right, who's next?
Well, if we have to decide who's next, it's like obviously Polnareff. Like, he went through the massive character development. He got the huge focus here.
Yep.
He doesn't have as clear of a motivation as some of the others do. He's going to tag along with them and do that, and it's more of a decision for him to be selfless in this regard.
Sure.
But if I had to choose someone to get just punked by a stand user or, just Dio,
you'd want it to be Polnareff.
Polnareff makes poetic sense.
Right, because we care about him enough that it would really hurt. I feel like
it would hurt a lot.
We haven't really
Kakyoin needs a little bit more development.
Needs a little bit more development
for it to hit.
And with Joseph, don't you dare. Like, not yet.
No. Joseph in particular, this is why I think you were saying I don't think Jotaro is going to die. I think that Joseph is a little bit more tied to the old Joestar lineage, but via like his interactions with Speedwagon and Zeppelis in particular. So I think that he's one of the characters where I'm completely unsure whether or not they would kill him. But sorry, where was I going with this? I was trying to say about how Jotaro could die, but I was trying to also bring up the thing of if Jotaro could die, Joseph needs to die before.
And I would say that,
and that's where things get a little bit crazy, because if they both die, where does this whole thing continue?
Right.
And that's why
not
it gets
until
a little
Jotaro
bit tricky.
Gets the chance to propagate the species, like we know that much at least.
We need to multiply.
Exactly.
On the other hand, though, this is where I think it could work. Holly is technically a Joestar and a Kujo, so she could have another kid, and that could be the sad bit of it, is that they save Holly and they all die. I mean, they could.
That would be insane. That would be amazing and insane.
They could take down Dio, and that would be the way that they end this whole thing.
But they all die in the process.
I think
that would be. Whew.
I think actually, the more and more I think about it, some people have. This is more of a design thing, but I don't think it was a spoiler for them to tell me this. But Jotaro is kind of modeled after the Clint Eastwood type of character.
Yeah.
So the more and more I think about that,
and he certainly tries to be the Clint Eastwood type character.
Right, but what does the typical cowboy do?
Walk
at the end
off
of the
into
movie?
The sunset alone.
Alone. So
yeah.
I think you're actually right. I think that Jotaro is not going to die, and everyone else will die. And Jotaro will be the one to take down Dio.
And that is going to hit hard.
Well, Joseph needs to die at some point.
I know.
And I think Joseph, like when they decide to give Joseph a little bit more character depth, because we already care about him because we've seen him in part 2. But if they want to focus on him a little bit more, they're going to bring in the connection between him and Jotaro and see if they can strengthen it.
Sure.
And I'm guessing they're not going to get along very well as they try to do that.
No.
But it would be a very heartbreaking, bittersweet thing to have Joseph essentially die saving Jotaro.
Sure. He tells Jotaro to use his secret technique, and he doesn't.
Oh crap!
Because here's the thing.
There's a whole lot of.
I feel like Joseph is gonna die, and 90% sure it has to be at the hands of Dio.
It doesn't have to, it would be the best. It would be the best emotional dick punch in order to do it that way.
Yeah,
because we want Dio to die. We want him to burn, roasted. We want him to be ora-ora'd into oblivion, and that sounds just wonderful to think about. But Joseph, we were worried about him dying so much in part 2.
Yeah,
and I think this is more of us getting to appreciate the extra time with Joseph before he goes. But it will happen at some point. But back to the transition, essentially, from, you know, bringing Polnareff in as a primary character into this mini arc.
Yeah.
Do you think that then they'll have like a next step where then in this bit they're gonna have Joseph be like the next big character, or Kakyoin, and then they'll just keep that on a rotation with an occasional stand of the week bit in between?
I think they could totally do that, especially since, like, okay, with a cast like this, one of the things that you want to focus on is what are there's the group, you know, aspect of it, but also what are the relationships between the individuals.
Right.
And I feel like this one was not just a deal for developing Polnareff, but for also for Kakyoin to show their relationship, right? So I feel like that could be what they shift into next.
Sure.
And then potentially later, then they go to Jotaro and Joseph.
Oh, well, we already know it's going to be a Joseph thing next episode.
Well, that's
because
true. Yeah,
Joseph is the one that's got the stand on him. So,
and I'm very excited to see how they handle that, because we haven't really seen Joseph fight.
Right, but here's the thing.
Still might
what is Joseph's greatest weapon? His tongue.
Sure.
He can talk his way out of anything.
Basically.
And what I'm excited about is, did you notice what form the stand thing took?
A little eye?
A little mouth, actually.
Oh, that's right.
So, and it made a little, kind of noise, or whatever.
Yeah.
What if this stand in particular is actually kind of a goofy, like kind of crazy stand, and Joseph has to like outwit it with his smarts and his quick thinking and his witty dialogue or something.
Yeah.
I think by the power of witty dialogue, Joseph will get like a serious spotlight in the next episode.
That would be fantastic, because, like, I mean, that was one of the things that made part 2 so amazing.
Yes.
And, like, seeing that again would be just
amazing.
A little bit
and I've been missing Joseph. We've been having a lot of character introductions, a lot of Jotaro just ordering things,
and
Yare. And Yare. It's like it's Yare something else. It's like Yare something.
Okay.
Whatever. But yeah, Yare. And then a lot of Polnareff in particular.
Yes.
But now I think that's where
they've completed what they want to do.
They've completed that beginning bit for Polnareff. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future stuff. Yeah, guys, this is going to be good. So if you want to see the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. Also comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about stories and what have you. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.